Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of VGU Talks, and let's talk games. So I have a theory based from playing Mortal Kombat 10 and being a huge fan of Mortal Kombat in the past, and my theory is simple. Is Takeda possibly Cyrax 2.0? Now of course, I'm not talking about Takeda as he is now in Mortal Kombat X. In fact, I'm talking about what could happen to Takeda as we move on from Mortal Kombat 10 and start moving gradually towards Mortal Kombat 11 or XI or whatever it's going to end up being called by Netherrealm Studios. So if you don't know about Takeda, Takeda is of course the son of an awesome blind warrior known as Kenshi, one of my main men, and this character has been praised for his different styles and even his look from within the game. I've both faced and seen many players who have mastered this warrior and have done some crazy moves with him, and I mean crazy. But the more I see Takeda's fighting style along with his weapons of choice and his animations and everything else, I can't help but imagine a certain yellow cyber ninja from Mortal Kombat's past. So of course this got me thinking, and here we are today as we talk about whether Takeda is going to end up turning into the new and improved Cyrax. So let's start with my theory. First we have the origins of Takeda and a reason for him to go evil if he was ever cyberized. After playing through the story of Mortal Kombat 10, and warning here there may be a few spoilers here and there during this talks video, you notice that Takeda was left by his father in the hands of Master Hanzo Hasashi, aka Scorpion, after his mother's death. Although this quickly resolved after a battle with Kenshi, there may still be a part of Takeda that stays angry at both Kenshi and the Red Dragons, and this could spur him on to go on a very dangerous mission in Mortal Kombat 11, where he will be tricked into becoming the new Cyrax. Whether this is from a new organization, the Red Dragons themselves, or even a new rogue force from within the Lin Kuei or the Shirai Ryu. As well as a plausible way of seeing this new character possibly going cyber, the movesets can carry across very nicely from what he currently has. For example, let's go through them one by one. We have the whips from his Shirai Ryu style that can easily be put into Cyrax. However, an interesting addition to mix things up if he was to go cyber would be to have these chain whips electrify opponents or inflict some kind of elemental damage in order to inflict stuns or make for interesting x-rays and finishes for the game. Can you imagine that? Like the cyber body charging up the blade as it goes into someone, stuns them, brings you towards them, and then you can punch them away again. That would be a cool move. Next, with his Lasher variant, the chains this time around could be charged up with fire caused by the friction when scratching across the floor of the arena. This will combine an element of application to the attacks as well as make for more savage damage over time capabilities at longer ranges. And if you have a look closely at one of his animations after winning a round whilst in that form, he'll just lash around his whips, and his whips do stir up a nice bit of friction on the floor, which could make this work incredibly well. And finally, the Ronin moveset can have a few bigger changes. Instead of having a long-range beam coming out of his dual sabers, for example, you could have an energy net from Cyrax's chest shades of Mortal Kombat 3. To add some additional changes, you can also add in the detonator bombs and the teleport skill to make his transformations feel more complete, and this could be the style that is 100% more of the cyberization rather than Takeda's old fighting style. But with the moveset over and done with, why should he turn into Cyrax, and why won't he turn into Sector 2.0 or someone similar? Simply put, there are similarities between our hero and the classic cyborg. First and most obvious would have to be the appearance of the colour yellow. Cyrax and Takeda share a similar colour scheme, especially if you compare Takeda's alternate outfit with human Cyrax from Mortal Kombat 9. On top of this, they both have a similar training background, as Kenshi's son was trained in the ways of the Shirai Ryu, whilst the yellow cyborg was originally trained in the Lin Kuei of Sub-Zero's clan. Anyone that is known to be a part of a ninja's clan could possibly have a chance of turning into a cyber ninja, and there was a little bit of an outcry in Mortal Kombat 10 that there wasn't a presence of cyber ninjas of any kind. So is it possible that they'll make a comeback in the next one? I think so. Now, there is one counter-argument against this entire theory, and it involves the events in Mortal Kombat 10's story. Sub-Zero, upon meeting up with Hanzo, explains that he had annihilated the former Lin Kuei that was turning their clan into a cyber army. With this said, there is still remnants of the technology which could be picked up by a new organization or even a rogue force from within the Shirai Ryu or New Lin Kuei. You can see this in the story where after their little fight you had Sub-Zero and Hanzo going into their temple, and inside this temple when Sub-Zero reveals the origins of Hanzo's hate towards the Lin Kuei to him. It's this file embedded into the remnants of Sector, which I found really interesting. And because Sector is still existing in this world in some way or form, and the technology is still there, it still leaves the possibility of cyberization coming back, and the potential of Takeda turning into the brand new badass Cyrax. So that's my theory, ladies and gentlemen, and I wanted to voice it out to you guys. But now I leave it in your hands. What do you think? Do you think that Takeda for Mortal Kombat 10 could end up becoming the new Cyrax in our Mortal Kombat universe? Or do you think this is a very convoluted theory and there are holes left, right and center that need to be filled in? Let me know your thoughts on this theory in the comments below, and I will see you next time for another edition of VGU Talks.